Okay, we'll call a meeting of the Middletown Police Commission to order. Full board is present. And Alderman Kleiner and a guest in the audience, so.
Gloria.
I know Gloria, but I don't want to tell everybody Gloria's here. All right, Chief, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Commission. I don't have a very large agenda this evening. Hopefully get you out in a reasonable amount of time. Press releases, I did send the Commission a couple of press releases in regards to a couple activities. One was an incident that happened involving a New York City police officer on December 7th, and then on a search warrant that we did in regards to a prostitution operation on December 6th. Do you have any discussion, thoughts, concerns? No? Okay. I did forward the Commission the November Police Commission meeting minutes for your review. Is there any discussion that you would like to have in regards to the minutes from November? I think it's on the third page, sir. Being no discussion, if I could have a motion to accept them as written.
So moved.
Motion by the mayor, second by Commissioner Sullivan. All in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate that. Stats from November. I did just forward these out to you yesterday, so I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to review them. Just touching on some of the crime aspects of it. For the month of November, we handled 2,665 calls for service, which was a slight decrease from October, which is kind of consistent year after year. As we get into the winter months, it does normally slow down a little bit. In October, we handled 2,909 calls. Part 1 crimes for the month of November, we did see a significant decrease over previous months. We ended up investigating 44 Part 1 crimes. Out of those 44, 10 were classified in the violent category and 34 in property. That property crime is still being driven by our larceny numbers. Out of those 34, 25 were property, or larceny, I'm sorry. So that 44 was in comparison to 70 the month before in October. Part 2 crimes, for the month, we handled 114 investigations into Part 2 crimes in comparison to 178 in October. The arrest for the month of November, also we saw a decrease there as well, which kind of in relation to the actual number of calls and crimes. The month of November, the department made 161 arrests, which was a 24% decrease over the previous month in which 212 arrests were made. Traffic tickets for the month of November, 338 were issued, 7% decrease over 365 in October. And parking tickets for the month of November, 294, which is a decrease over the October number of 367. So we're starting to see some decreases, but it's kind of in relation to, the time of year and the call volume as well. Out of all those arrests and incidents that we dealt with, 6 of the arrest incidents, ended in a use of force, which equates to 3.73%. We're still very low with uses of force in comparison to our total arrests. And during the month of November, the department investigated 2 shots fired calls. Both were deemed to be unfounded. Any questions in regards to stats, or would you like to go into them more detailed?
I'm good.
Staffing. We currently still have 3 vacancies, police officer vacancies. We are doing backgrounds currently. We do have, out of the backgrounds that we're currently doing, 1 is a certified police officer. The others would have to go to the police academy. The next police academy is scheduled to start in March of 2024. So if the commission's open, I'd have at least 1, if not a few candidates for the January meeting to be interviewed for potential hire.
What date is the January meeting?
January meeting is, I believe it's
18th.
18th. Yes, 18th.
Okay.
And that would give us time to get people to the final phases of the background, which would be the psychological exam and the medical exam, to be eligible to start in the beginning of March. Out of the 72 sworn personnel that I currently have, I have 2 on admin leave, or admin duty, I'm sorry. I have 1 deployed in military, which is about an 18-month term, and I have 4 in the police academy. 2 of which in the police academy will be graduating tomorrow at the Paramount at 10 a.m. That'll be Officer Lane and Officer Brownstein. And our other two, Officer Pearson and Officer Hodges, they will graduate, it's sometime in January. I don't have the exact date with me right now, but they're about 4 to 6 weeks behind. Officer Arroyo, who the commission hired 2 meetings ago, he began his career with us on November 13th. So far, he's doing well. He came from the city of Newburgh, so he had plenty of experience. He's fitting in very well, motivated. In fact, he was one of the officers on the day that we had this situation with the NYPD officers. The suspect that was fleeing, he and one of our other patrol officers were the ones that found that suspect as he was running up the street. Active person, seems to be a good fit thus far. Since our last meeting, I hired 2 full-time dispatchers. I struggled with this for a while, trying to get candidates, and I was able to actually reach 2 of our part-time dispatchers that took our exam to be full-time dispatchers. So it was an easy transition. They've been working with us for about 7 months already. Backgrounds were done. We knew what we had with them, so we slid them right into the full-time positions. We're very happy with that. They began full-time on December 12th. I mentioned this in the last meeting. However, it's finalized basically now is Detective Brashew, Kevin Brashew, is retiring from the department after 20 plus years. His effective official retirement date is January 4th. However, last Friday was his last day in the building. He's burning up some time through the holidays, and he will be officially retired as of January 4th. He will be a loss. He was a good asset to the department. He worked with the juvenile division, with the school, with the community outreach, was very well known throughout the community and the law enforcement community as being the juvenile detective, of having a good grasp of what goes on there. So he'll be missed. And as I mentioned last meeting, Detective Ahmed Artola will be replacing him. Ah's been a detective with us for several years now. He is one of the more senior detectives, and he has a desire to go and work in the juvenile division as a change of pace. So he's so far so good. He's been out there doing his thing and being involved. Any questions, thoughts, comments, discussion on staffing?
Good.
Since our last meeting, I'll just go through a list of some of the trainings that the department participated in, either as instructors or as students. We assisted with narcotics and dangerous drugs as instructors at the academy, procedural justice instructor at the police academy, device ID by location, which is utilizing data and cell phones and cars to be able to track situations, rifle shotgun familiarization instructor, AED overview instructor. One of our AED instructors actually did a training right here in this room for the members of City Hall. New York State Police Intelligence Conference, determining mobile device identifiers. We sent our dispatchers to an in-service, breath analysis operator instructor, New York State law enforcement officers and the law practices and procedures, standardized field sobriety testing instructor, armed suspect and recognition and firearm seizure course, street cop social media and open source investigations, and then the entire department went through one of our phases of in-service, which is a week long. Each officer goes through 8 hours, including myself, in which there's an update on taser usage, uses of force, legal updates, and criminal complaints. So we just concluded that last week as well. In regards to community events, this past week we had 2 that were just wrapped up. One is our Youth Leadership Academy. We had 16 members of the community, young teenagers, attend this 12-week program, and they just graduated on the 18th right here in this room as well. And then on the 19th, we hosted a Too Good for Violence graduation at Carter Elementary School, which is the DARE program. The new term for it is Too Good for Violence. And then right after the holidays, we'll be doing a Too Good for Violence graduation at Monhagen Middle. Yeah, Monhagen Middle, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a good program. We still get a great turnout for that. Looking at some of the incidents that have happened over the last month, it hit the media in regards to there's a fight at the high school that caught some media attention. We are working hand in hand with the school to address some of that behavior there. We made 1 arrest that day, and probably within probably after the holidays at this point. There'd be additional charges filed on additional persons there that we've been able to identify with the school as being involved in that inappropriate behavior. The other situation that hit the media is also involving the school is the situation that happened at Monhegan Middle School. Although it's not in our jurisdiction, we did help with that situation. We're helping with the investigation, whatever else comes up, still working hand in hand with the school to follow up on leads or any other situations that come from that. Something that just happened yesterday, we've been dealing with the illegal sales of cannabis for, several months now. The city's adopted some local laws to help us combat that. We've made notifications to the Cannabis Control Board. Yesterday, we put together some teams and we worked with the investigators from taxation that came down and did visits to 4 of our local establishments that we've been having troubles with, and they found violations at all of them. So they're taking appropriate actions on the civil end. There's been notices put on their windows showing that they've been subject of illicit cannabis sales, and then that there's continued, the fines and sanctions continue from this point forward. So we're very happy that we got their attention to help us combat some of this, being that the city has opted out of all the sales of cannabis. So that is something that we deal with on a regular basis, and the locations we hit were 220 Dolson Avenue, 203 Dolson Avenue, 94 Wickham, and 95 North Street. So places that are very familiar to us from our own dealings, but we just were able to utilize some other resources to address them a little bit differently. Hopefully it'll help curb them and some others that are doing the same stuff. Yes, sir.
What type of businesses are they?
Most of them are smoke shops.
Okay.
Smoke shop, the Wickham Avenue is kind of like a convenience smoke shop, convenience store smoke shop. The others are pretty much smoke shops. And I know the city is working on adopting some new legislation as well to kind of better govern smoke shops and permitting processes.
Problem with the business and under the zoning, we can't revoke the zoning. So we're implementing a permit. We had a public hearing last meeting, and the public hearing's been held open for the next 2 weeks for smoke shops or tobacco shops, that we would issue a business operating permit. And that permit then can be revoked if there's a major violation through due process. And then the place would have to shut down. So right now we're looking at just total smoke shops, but I can see it being expanded to any area that sells tobacco products.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
It's pretty much all I have on my agenda. I do have some stuff that I would have to discuss with the commission in executive session, being that there are personnel matters. So unless the commission has anything they would like to discuss, or anyone from the audience has any topics or concerns or questions, I'd be looking to have a motion to go into executive session for personnel matters.
Oh, let's find the audience first. Anybody from the audience? Yeah, got to come up to the microphone, Gloria.
That way everybody knows you're here.
Are they gonna have any type of, wait a minute, let me get up here closer. Are they gonna have any type of like curfew for the teenagers come after they get out of school?
We have a curfew at Halloween time, that's about
No,
it.
that's the only time, okay.
We actually do have a curfew in the city code for 16 and older after 11 p.m. It is a non-criminal code, like sanction, where we could take the child or person back home to their parents, but there's really not a lot of teeth to it. It's more of an awareness to take them and get them off the
But I'm
street.
just saying, once they get out of school.
At 3 o'clock when they're out of
Yeah,
school?
yeah, in the summer, once school is over for the summer, and then they're in summer vacation.
I don't think that, my own opinion on that is, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're looking so that they can't be out on the street during the summer times, or?
No, they can't, but, time limit. Like
Well,
we
there
have
is, that curfew of 11 o'clock is all year round, and then for Halloween and the days around Halloween, we tighten it up a
Oh,
little bit.
till 11 o'clock, that's what I
11
wanted to
o'clock.
know.
16 and under can't be out after 11 without a parent, or they have to be coming from a school function or from a work
How do they
function.
enforce that? Do they really enforce that, or?
So the ones that are obviously younger than 16, the officers, and we encourage them, especially as we get to the summer months, to be observant of young kids being out in the street, inquire as to why they're out there. If they're in trouble, like get them and take them home. Or bring them into the station, have mom or dad or guardian, whoever's responsible, come to the station to pick them up. So inconvenience them a little bit too, make them come out and realize what their child is doing.
Okay. I
And
just
they-
wanted to know.
They get caught at the parks after hours. They get the skate park. We get the text message at the skate park.
Yeah, so
They're skating.
the city has also codes that are regularly enforced of you can't be in any city-owned park after dusk.
Right.
So
I know
if
that one,
they're
'cause I used
doing
to
any
bring
of
my
that,
dog.
they could be charged as well. And just recently, over the last 18 months, through Cities Corporation Council, he's added some additional like quality of life charges to help us deal with some of the kids when they're acting rowdy and disorderly. He's given us some local codes to address that as well, where we bring them in, moms and dads or guardians have to come in, they end up in court and there's a sanction of a fine, which has been very effective in curbing some poor
Well, I was
behavior.
glad to see that they had increased like noise for homes, because that never was only for dogs. Now it's also loud music coming from homes.
So we
And I'm
have,
glad that you did that.
yep, so we have
That's
loud
pretty
music,
new, right?
homes, cars, construction equipment, times of day where certain things can be done, so.
Right.
And if there's ever an issue, please call us and we'll send an officer to address that.
What's that? You know, you tell us, try to get the license plate. You can't get no damn license plate. They're too fast and it's too loud.
You gotta run faster next time.
Oh, hell no. Okay.
Thank you, Gloria. Have a great Christmas.
Jerry, any comment? Okay. All right, so we have a motion to go into executive session by Jean and seconded by Deb. All in favor? And the purpose was, as Chief stated,
Personnel
personnel
matters.
matters.
So we'd be going into executive session at
Yep.
4:58 for personnel matters.
Eileen, we're off the air?
Please be advised this ends the public portion of today's meeting. Thank you.